Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, my final show before the pregame show, before the season starts, before the Bears make their march to New Orleans and their first Super Bowl victory since 1985. Welcome in. That's right. That's my mood today. I am pleased to be joined by the incomparable, the talented, the athletic, the intelligent, the grounded Gregory P. Allen Braggs. Yes, good to see you, buddy.
I am so honored to sit next to you every day in this studio. But I am also excited for tonight's happy hour with our diehards here.
That's right. Big diehard happy hour extraordinaire tonight, 8 o'clock. As you watch the NFL kickoff tonight, you can hang out with us. We have our fantasy draft going on too. So honestly, if somebody wants to come in tonight and do the draft for me, I am open to that 100%. But 8 o'clock tonight, there is a diehard happy hour extravaganza. Chiefs, Ravens, draft, Bears, Titans, Braggs, Carm. Yes.
Yep.
All the things.
Yep. Become a diehard. Hang out with us here tonight.
Yes.
Let's get to talking some football.
Let's do that. Tyler Rowland, Locked On Titans, joins us to start the show as we continue to preview the Titans. Tyler, I got the Bears beating Tennessee 30-17. I'm thinking that the Titans don't even need to show up at Soldier Field on Sunday. Caleb Williams is here. Do you have any pushback to my prediction? Not that I haven't made that official on the show yet, but that's what I will be saying on Sunday. I'm saying it here. 30-17. That's what I'm feeling. What do you think?
I have a little pushback. I might have just a little bit of pushback on the way, but I think the game will be closer than that regardless of who wins. I went into the week predicting that the Bears would win the game. I feel differently now after learning a little bit more about the Bears from, different conversations I've had throughout the week on different Bears shows and just looking back at some of the things from the defense last year. And I think it's going to be a close game either way, though, no matter who wins. Obviously, I'm conflicted, as you can hear. I think I'm ultimately going to lean Titans 20-17, but I don't think either team is getting 30 points in this one. I think it's early, and with where these teams are at, that may be a little too optimistic, I guess.
Well, let's get into that then. Specifically, for the things that made you change your mind, what are some of the top things that did that for you?
So I would say two things, one on each side of the ball. Number one, I'm not as worried about the Bears pass rush as maybe I was during the summer. I think that's just, I don't cover the Bears every day. So I know they added Montez Sweat, but I'm looking at some of the other options. I see DeMarcus Walker, who's a good player, not great. I liked Austin Booker coming out of Kansas, but that's a rookie in week one. Am I really, is he really going to go crazy in their rush packages with Walker on the inside? I don't know. I feel a little more confident about the Titans offensive line too after some of the preseason performances. So I think the Titans offensive line being a little better than I thought they might be, and then the Bears pass rush maybe not scaring me quite as much. That gives me a little more faith in the Titans offense. And then on the other side of the ball, the interior trio of the Chicago Bears with Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis, a former Titan. I think with the Titans, what we saw from the Titans in the preseason and knowing what they're going to plan to do on defense, I think they're going to be able to take advantage of the A-gaps.
So since you brought up Nate Davis there, Tyler, and just I think every Bears fan just got pricked a little bit there. We just felt it. Did you know when the Bears signed Nate Davis that Nate Davis perhaps didn't love the game of football to the level that some players love the game of football? I don't know if that's fair to say it like that, but that's how it feels.
I understand that that's been a conversation, so I don't think it's crazy for you to lean into that right there. But no, it wasn't really something. But to be honest with you, the Titans had a guard who was set to be the starter at right guard this year retire a week into training camp in Sadiq Charles, and he was in his second contract. He had finally got through that rookie contract, and he was like, this just isn't for me, and quits in the middle of training camp. So I think that shows up after the rookie deal. You play your rookie deal, you got drafted, and now you're into that second contract or your year after, and maybe you're not quite as excited. So we didn't see that in Tennessee particularly, but I know that he's missed a lot of time, and guys who maybe don't love it as much don't push through those injuries as often.
Yeah, and he lost his mother last year, so I think there was a great grace. Yeah, it was obviously, and for most Bears fans, I think we gave a grace period
You
for
have
Nate
to.
Davis and that. But then this year he's missed a lot of training camp, and even for Matt Eberflus, the head coach of the Bears, you could tell through the press conferences that they kind of reached the end of the line, like time to get out here and start practicing. You know, Tyler, when I look at the Tennessee Titans and I listen to you, you know, talking with Lauren Cox earlier and breaking down your expectations of this team, it does remind me a lot of what we went through as Bears fans last year, where there's just a lot of unknowns, a lot of new faces. You've got the new defensive coordinator, a new head coach, a quarterback specifically that's in a prove-it year, a lot like Justin was last year. Like, is this going to be our quarterback of the future? So I'm sure as Titans fans, you guys want all of that stuff to work out so you can be a surprise team, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. Now, with Will Levis specifically, what are your thoughts on him coming into this game week one, facing a very tough secondary here in Chicago on the road, and overall what your expectations that he can be the guy that you hope he can be?
Well, first, I just have to say I am a Kyler Gordon stan. I love physical nickel corners, so I just got to say I do love Kyler Gordon. But I think from Will Levis, you need to make it easy on him in this game. Like, it's going to be a hostile environment. Bears fans are fired up. Like, you finally got the guy that you can really believe in. Even when they brought Fields in, it wasn't the number one pick, his first round, but it's like, yeah, we think so. He dropped in the draft a little. We went and got him to take a chance, but this needs to hit. Like, Caleb Williams is the guy that people have been talking about for years. So I think the environment is going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. Soldier Field is going to be shaken, and not just Will Levis that I'm worried. He's a young quarterback still. He only started 9 games, but brand new wide receiver group, basically, with Boyd and Ridley, brand new offensive line, brand new system, brand new playbook, brand new play caller. Brian Callahan has been calling plays up in the booth in Cincinnati, or not calling the plays, but working on that up in the booth. And now he's down on the field. So much is new that what you don't want to do is you don't want to put it all on Will Levis dropping back 35, 40 times. They need to run the football. They need to take advantage of the screen game. They need to be in third and manageable, because those audibles out and those checks out to the wide receiver, you can't just look at Calvin Ridley and be like, oh, we've seen this coverage before. I just got to look at you and to change things. They're going to have to communicate that, and it's going to be hard to do it. So my thing for Will Levis in this game is make it easy on him. And as the team grows together and gets more comfortable, then he can, let him loose later in the season when there's more comfortability there. But I think you need to really treat him like a rookie quarterback in this one.
So I got this as the Kevin Byard revenge game here, Tyler. And that's part of the reason how I got to 30, because I'm going pick 6. This dude has been talking about playing Tennessee since he got here. Like, this game is circled. And he's made a huge impact in the Bears locker room. I think the respect for him is big time. This guy, what would you tell Bears fans they're getting in Byard that they perhaps haven't figured out already?
Well, number one for me is leadership. Like, the human being that people say that all the time, but the human being that Kevin Byard is top notch. This is kind of off the wall. You would think McNair, Henry, George. My favorite Tennessee Titan of all time is Kevin Byard. Like, he, to me, is everything that you want a Tennessee Titan to be. Now, I will say this. Off of that sentimental stuff, on the field, he has lost a step. He is not the athlete that he was 3-4 years ago. That's just nature. There's nothing you can do about that. But he's so instinctual. He's so good at reading the quarterback's eyes. He's so smart with his preparation. He had a pick 6 in Los Angeles in 2021 when the Titans got the 1 seed, and the way he broke down that play in a little media appearance afterwards, of knowing that they had a condensed formation on the right side and looking at the wide receiver splits and understanding that was going to be an out route that he could cut under. He just can use his brain and his eyes to make up for maybe a little loss of a step in the feet and still make plays. As long you guys have good around him in the back 7, which allows him to be free. He doesn't have to play man coverage on tight ends. He doesn't have to be too locked in. He can float. And when he does that, he creates turnovers. And that's what modern NFL defenses are trying to do.
So yesterday we kind of played a game of what worried us most about the Bears matching up with the Titans, and then who were our breakout candidates as Bears players going into this game. So I'll give you both those double-barreled question here. What worries you most when you look at this matchup? And then who's a breakout player that you think can come out of this that nobody's really talking about with the Titans?
Well, what worries me most is Caleb Williams. So the Titans, as a result of the Titans' edge rush. So Harold Landry is a good player, but he's not an elite edge rusher like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, guys like this. Like even Montez Sweat, I would say, is a better player than Harold Landry. And on the other side, the Titans don't really have another starting edge. So if those guys play undisciplined and allow Caleb Williams to get outside and play make and get into his natural habitat, like that's what he has done his whole life. He's going to have to get better as a pocket passer just because you got to win from the pocket. But early on, it's week 1. You want to win a game at home. If Caleb Williams starts rolling out and throwing those sidewinders and crossbody passes, playmaking and forcing the Titans secondary to cover for forever, that's going to be hard to deal with all game long. So the one thing that scares me the most, I guess, from the Titans side of it and from the Bears side of it is Caleb Williams doing what he does best, because that stresses a defense. And it also seems more likely to happen because the Titans' edge rush is maybe not as – they got a 7th-round rookie and Arden Key on the other side from Harold Landry. And Arden Key is an undisciplined rusher, should not be a starter for this team. And Jalen Harrell had a good camp in preseason, but he's a 7th-round rookie. They're prone to make mental mistakes, and I'm worried about letting Caleb Williams out the back door.
It's on the table that Matt Eberflus becomes the NFL head coach of the year, and the guy looks good. Locker room seems like he's owned it pretty well.
And
there's
win
a lot
an Oscar for Hard Knocks.
I mean, a lot of Flus respect out there. But, Tyler, if this thing goes south, the Bears perhaps, unlikely, but could be looking for a head coach. Why do you think Mike Vrabel didn't get more run and even got released, period? Like, would you rather have Brian Callahan or Mike Vrabel?
Well, I had respect for Matt Eberflus when he was the defensive coordinator of the Colts because I got to watch that go down all the time. They were so good in Indy on defense. But for me personally, I'm Brian Callahan. And last year at the end of the year, I kept saying the same thing, and I'll say it now. Mike Vrabel is a good football coach, but he was not the right football coach for the Titans. Mike Vrabel is a guy, you see this, I feel like it's more common in baseball. You have these old school managers who they maybe wouldn't do well with a young team, with young players who just got out of the farm system, who are trying to kind of develop, but they would do real good with a vet team to make sure that they just do the right things and they don't make mental mistakes and beat themselves. Mike Vrabel needs to take over more of a complete, ready team. The Titans are trying to rebuild on the fly and added a lot of pieces, but a lot of their players that really need to step up and develop are younger guys. So the Titans needed someone who could focus on that development of a younger team that's in a transition rather than a steely vet like Mike Vrabel, who really needs to take over a veteran roster that's ready to win. I think Vrabel is better with those vets than he is like a young quarterback. So for me, I wanted Mike Vrabel to be fired. It was time for him to go. Great run. Second best coach in Titans history since they moved to Nashville. But I'm team Brian Callahan, and he's talking about EPA in the press conferences and using data and talking about being efficient, throwing the ball on early downs and stopping the pass. It's just such a breath of fresh air after 25 years of ground and pound.
I got 30 seconds here, Tyler. I pulled one quote that I saw in People Making Predictions. Quote, Tennessee Titans are going to be a surprise team because of their ultra-aggressive offseason following another double-digit loss season. They will force their way into contention in the AFC South and a chance at the playoffs. What do you think? You're nodding your head yes.
I think if Will Levis hits, all of that is possible. If he doesn't, it's not. That simple.
All right, the Bears are going to pick him off 3 times on Sunday, and then we'll call you back. We'll see. We shall see. Tyler, thanks for being a good sport, man. We appreciate you jumping on.
Absolutely. Good luck on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Enjoy.
Back at you. I
Stay
guess
healthy.
We'll be friendly. Tyler Rowland, Locked on Titans.
That's right. Appreciate him coming on.
What do you think of my 30-17, buddy? 30-17.
You're already giving away your pick?
Yeah, I did. I'm excited. I couldn't hold it. You don't have to do yours. Just I'm asking you what you thought about mine.
I think you're the smartest person I've ever been around.
Thank you. Wow.
And so when you say things, I listen. And when you tell me to go to Game Time,
yeah,
I'm always listening.
There you go.
And there's a reason for that, because when you use the code CHGO, you get $20 off. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. My favorite part about Game Time is that you can find the seat and see the vantage point. They show you with the map exactly where you're going to sit and exactly how you're going to see the game. That's what's great about Game Time. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. They have all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. As I said, the seat views a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Lowest price guaranteed. Game Time will credit you, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time. There you go. Very good. It's a big weekend. I know you guys are going to be out there. I got the product for you. It's Z-Biotics. That's right. This is a game changer for you. You want to do this before you go out for your night out with drinks. It's called the Z-Biotics pre-alcohol, all right? Get ahead of the game. A lot of you don't bounce back the next day like you used to. I would be one of those people. This is what you got to do. And also, by the way, it's the surefire way that you're gonna be feeling fresh after a night of drinking, and then you'll be ready to go to wake up, come to the tailgate, feel great for Sunday. This is how you do it. Okay. You take the drink before you go out. It's the pre-alcohol drink. You get it in your stomach, and what it does, it's a genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists, not like Greg Briggs. These people are geniuses. And what it does is it breaks down what you don't want in your stomach. So your first drink of the night is this, and then the next day, even if you have a big night, you're going to be feeling fresh, Braggs, which we need for you on Sunday, by the way. I hear you're getting there at 6 a.m. So this is what you do. Go to zbiotics.com, and then you're going to insert the code CHGO Bears, CHGO Bears, and you're going to get 15% off your first order. CHGO Bears, put that in at checkout. Pre-alcohol is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they're going to refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics, ZBIOTICS.com. Put in that code CHGO Bears. Use that CHGO Bears code at checkout. 15% off. You will make this your first drink. You're going to feel amazing. And thank you to Z-Biotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times right here at CHGO. All right.
I just wanted to say, like, listening to Tyler there, that's why I enjoy getting the other perspective, because when he really broke down their lack of edge threat on the defensive line, that got my ears perked up, because when you watch Caleb Williams and the way he climbs the pocket and the way he can manipulate a defensive end that doesn't have good, discipline or technique, when he mentioned Arden Key being undisciplined, like a guy like Caleb Williams takes advantage of that and will let you come around the corner, and then he's going to step up, slide over. We've seen it many times at camp and even in the preseason, and make a play. And I know we're going to get to a topic, but I did want to dial up this real quick, because T'Vondre Sweat was speaking in the locker room yesterday with the Titans. And so the interior of that defensive line is what I'm looking at with Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat. Jeffrey Simmons has already said some things about Caleb Williams and his painted nails. He walked it back yesterday talking with the media. But then T'Vondre Sweat, I really enjoyed when they asked him about when he played Caleb Williams in college. So we'll play it here.
I played against that guy already in college. He's a heck of a player, and it's going to be excited playing against him, and I can't wait.
I was going to ask, what are your memories of that game his freshman year when he came off? I know that was a rough one for you guys.
You asked it.
I mean, it is what it is. Horns up always. I don't like when he said horns down. I know Roshan Johnson said something in that room, but, I mean, he's a good player. Like I say, he's a heck of a player, and I can't wait to go out there and play against him.
The Red River rivalry, the moment Caleb Williams burst onto the college football scene, Oklahoma versus Texas, down, 30 points. They come back and win. When they asked Devondre Sweat about that game, and the eye roll, the eyes he gave about the nightmare that was Caleb Williams that day. And then obviously, Caleb talking about horns down. So some bulletin board material that players haven't forgotten about here.
Well, and I know that our listeners are beyond dialed in, and apparently CAGS is becoming a thing here. CAGGS, that's me and you, Carman and
That's
Braggs.
wonderful.
CAGS.
Yeah, Gritty's making another Photoshop.
I mean, Gritty must be stopped.
But so, I mean, my point is that our live listeners, our chatters are undefeated. But some people might not know who Devondre Sweat is. This is a second-round pick out of Texas in the league, talking before he's played his first game.
Yeah.
And so, okay, that's fine. He should have confidence. He's a big-time NFL guy.
But that when he was asked, like, hey, what were your thoughts of that game? Like, you could just see the despair about how that still wears on him, how they lost that game. And if you watch the highlights from that game, Caleb Williams, some of the best highlights of his career.
Well,
so just something to think about, something in the back of your mind.
Which is another reason why, hey, first game in his NFL career, why not go big? Why not put up 30 at home? Why not live into the hype, which is...
I think we're on the same page with this. I'm not going to tell you what I'm picking.
Oh, okay.
But...
Well, we already know what you're picking.
Yeah, that's right. The Bears are winning this football game, ladies and gentlemen.
You are you. All right, just to set up the rest of the show, we're going to look at opening night of the NFL coming up in about 10 minutes, and then Hoge's going to be with us in about 20 minutes. But, as we've talked about Caleb ad nauseum, every minute seemingly of every show leading up to the draft, through the draft to today, talking about him now, the question is, has there ever been a Bears quarterback, rookie QB specifically, that has had more pressure on him to be successful than Caleb Williams? Steven, you're giving a look over there.
No, that was unrelated.
Okay.
No, you're good.
I thought I blew the topic. I'm good to know that I didn't. I thought that maybe the topic could change. But so this, and it hasn't, because this was my brilliant topic, because I'm a brilliant podcast host. But so... And you look back on it, and we're bending this a little bit to throw Jay Cutler in here too, because that was the biggest day in Bears quarterback history when they made that trade.
Right.
But if you look at what Caleb is being tasked to do, one, replace Justin Fields, who I don't know if you guys remember, but he was a very popular guy by about, I don't know, half the fan base, if not more. And we were screamed at from all angles last year whenever we pointed out something that wasn't going right with Justin.
You ruined him. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, right. It was our fault. And the rest of the media's fault, too. It had nothing to do with Justin and or the Bears.
I'm fine blaming Patrick Finley if that's what we're going to do.
That's fine. But so he's got to replace Justin. He's got to jump right in, start week 1, go get him, beat the Titans, win now week 1, win now this year. Bears are expected to win this year.
Right.
Ryan Poles has said improvement. But the bottom line is everybody, they don't want to necessarily say it, but they want to be a playoff team right now. So there's that. And then let's go into Hard Knocks. The Chicago Bears, who have editorial authority, allowed Ray Clay to come in there and do the Michael Jordan introduction.
And now. The greatest quarterback in Chicago Bulls Bears history.
Let's feel comfortable to compare Caleb to the greatest player who ever played anything, and is the big and erased Al Capone as the main talking point of this city across the world. Let's put him up on that pedestal before he's played a game. Let's go ahead and do that. Then you got national guys like my good friend Nick Wright, who's I'm a national FS1 guy. Why don't we just pick the Bears to be in the Super Bowl?
Danny Parkins dialing it up every day.
Danny Parkins missing, being a Chicago guy, loving it on the national scene. All he's going to do is seemingly talk about Caleb Williams.
It's like a Chicago local show, national. Though.
Right. I mean, this is it.
Shout out to Danny.
And it's like, and you look at the win thing. Well, I mean, last year they improved 4 wins from 3 to 7. They probably should. They should at least improve like 3-4 wins again. So 10-11 win team. It would be like near impossible for there to be more pressure on this guy.
Yep.
And by the way, I think he's built for it. I'm not super worried about it, but like, this is not like Mitch Trubisky.
No.
And I listen, they make the trade with the Niners. They send the third overall. They send the third and the fourth round pick and a 2018 third, if you remember. But Mike Glennon was the starter to start that season. And by the way, most Bears fans looked at the Bears cross-eyed, or at least a lot of it. Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson? No one was saying Patrick Mahomes at that point, or very few. But, like, what are you, nuts? Like, we already knew the Bears got that wrong when they did it, except for a couple of people who, like, their entire year, they just thought every season was like, oh, no.
Right. I mean, let me lay it out.
Go ahead. Lay it out.
Right. Because what you're trying to say is there's no debate. This is the most pressure a Bears rookie quarterback has ever had, because this is a Bears rookie quarterback that's being put into high expectations right out the gate, week one. Like there's no grace period of, okay, Mike Glennon's starting ahead of you, Andy Dalton started ahead of you, Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, they got to wait their turn, even though we all wanted them to start right away. Well, regardless, the expectations weren't high for either of those teams in their rookie season. If you want to compare where the pressure meets for any Bears quarterback in a specific season, it would be Justin Fields last year in his third year. That was high pressure for him. It would be Mitch Trubisky in his third year after they made the playoffs. High pressure. He folded. And it would be Jay Cutler in his first year as the Bears quarterback when we traded for him from Denver as a guy that had made a Pro Bowl. And then he proceeded to throw 26 interceptions, 27, I think. And so those guys, they didn't, once it was money on the table time, they all crumbled, right? So that's kind of the beauty of this moment. It's a lot of pressure for Caleb, but if he doesn't meet certain expectations, it's also not the end of, this is just the beginning, right? So we can push all our chips in. They can have high expectations as a team, but there's also a bigger picture at play. So I think that's kind of what they have to kind of hold them up at the end of the day.
Yeah, if you're saying that the holdup is that there's a grace period here, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, yes, we want them to win. Of course, we'll be disappointed if he doesn't. Of course, if he doesn't completely meet our highest expectations, Caleb Williams here in this first year, it's also not going to be the end of the world, barring it looking catastrophic. Yeah, I mean, Jay Cutler threw 27 interceptions, and he got very good as the years went on. They almost got to a Super Bowl. He's the best Bears quarterback of my lifetime. So he did start to play much better than that first year he played. It didn't ruin him here in Chicago. And neither of us are big Cutler fans. Don't make me defend Jay Cutler.
Well, you just went down a row where you're making me want to point out Jay Cutler when he got here, he had thrown 54 touchdown passes and 37 interceptions. And then he proceeded to throw 154 and 109 when he was with the Bears, the exact same ratio that he did as starting out in Denver. I can't with Cutler, but that's not the point of this thing. The point I think you teed it up dead on as far as when the pressure hit, but those guys had been in the league. The difference is, though, Jay Cutler was a diva in Denver. They threatened, it was maybe the greatest thing that Josh McDaniels ever did.
He wouldn't listen to John Lynch.
Yeah, well, it was the greatest thing that Josh McDaniels ever did. He's like, I want to talk to Matt Castle about being a starting quarterback here. And Cutler freaked out and wouldn't talk to him and demanded a trade out the door. The guy was always unstable. Justin, to me, there's a difference in how Caleb is handling that spot than the way Justin did. That's not to take a shot at Fields, but I think we can all see a maturity level that is just elevated from the last situation. And Mitch was, nowhere close to being able to handle ultimately everything that came here, turning the TVs off and everything else. This guy, it feels like, as far as the grace period, forget about all that. I just think if things go south for Caleb at the start of his career, he throws 3 picks on Sunday, they lose a bad game to the Titans. I would be shocked if he turtled up and crumbled at any point. Like, this guy has been working on himself both on and off the field for so long that it just feels like he's ready to handle all that's going to come with it.
I agree.
Which is what's the most
exciting. You're going to bet on it then, huh?
I already did. I already did.
Circa when you bet on?
I did.
You're gonna use Circa when you make that bet.
Yeah, okay.
Caleb Williams is gonna throw 3 touchdowns in week 1.
You're exactly right. Whether it's pro, college, the app to bet football on is the Circa Sports Illinois app. Greg, thank you so much. Your transitions today are exquisite. Circa Sports is sports betting the way it should be. And Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits. They got low holds. They got exceptional customer service. You can bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Let it ride on Caleb. Let it ride on the Bears. Let it ride. Bregsy.
Just read the script.
You don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. You stay in your lane. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. This is what you want to do. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. You got to be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's right. And want to give a shout out to our guys over at ComEd. It's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and the well-being of all of us who share it, Carm.
It is a pleasure to share with you, Gregory. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So what should business owners do, Markery?
Well, Gregory, they should go to ComEd.com/clean and learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. It's good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did your sweet Bippy say ComEd.com/clean?
You bet your injured, disgusting body I did. Go now. And see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. Woo! I felt bad about yesterday and the whole Nicholas Moriano didn't get hurt on the escalator and you did thing. But, I couldn't help myself, so I apologize, Gregory. And you're doing a great job rehabbing yourself, and I hope that it will apply to,
Nick saved himself. Be clear, I got hurt because I was trying to save others.
You did, and you were tough, and you're a hero, and I feel
you. On the other hand, were back at the bus when all this happened.
Yeah, I had to take care of business and go down to the 4th row in the 4th inning because I am a seat snob and I couldn't sit in our last row seats that day, and I felt bad about it. But I couldn't. I'm like a dog who sees like a bone down there when I look down and there's like open seats in the 4th row. I'm like, okay. What's that?
I'm the same way.
Yeah, like I can't help it. All right.
Jenny hates going to games with me because I'm a mover and a shaker.
That was actually one of my first criterias in dating. Will you switch seats with me? If you can't handle
the pressure,
the sitting in the 3rd deck, moving down to the 1st deck, and you have to have your own seat, we're not going to gel. It's not going to work. You gotta be able to.
So 2 dating preferences for you now is wingspan, and then are you willing to move seats?
Yes.
Okay.
Wingspan, athletic ability, appreciation of sports, and are you willing to, do victimless crimes and move down to seats that are open? These are very important, and it's a key thing. And I think that everybody should follow my lead on that if you're, in the middle of your dating life and trying to figure out who you want to be with. By the way, shout out to Nick and David, our 2 in-studio guests today. They're not on camera here, but they've come all the way from Germany to support the show.
My guys.
They'll be at the tailgate on Sunday. They'll be at the 120 Club on tomorrow. Right.
Friday 120 Club.
Cubs and Yankees. Cubs 4.5 games back, still breathing.
Yeah, he's got his brick by brick shirt on.
Yeah,
beautiful thing. So
they don't need to be on camera though. They're so adorable that everybody can just picture them in the background. Steven's trying to get them on camera, but
picture Brad Pitt
exactly
and Matt Damon.
Pitt and Damon. They're plotting. All right. What are you most excited about? By the way, did I mention that we're having a Die Hard through our Discord tonight, happy hour as the Chiefs and Ravens get going tonight. We're on it. We'll be hanging out at 8 o'clock. What are you most excited about, Gregory, with the NFL season starting in, well, it's 7:20 kick, so it's less than 7 hours, buddy.
7 hours away from the start of the NFL season. It's been an arduous NFL offseason, or we've been grinding through it. It's been a lot of fun, though, too. I mean, one of the most significant Bears off seasons ever, probably the most significant off season ever in Chicago Bears history. And so now we finally get to full slate of games. I can delete all those preseason games off my DVR. Yes, I still have my DVR. Thank you very much. Haven't thrown the satellite dish off my roof quite yet, but it's coming if I don't get ESPN here shortly. But I am looking forward to relax.
I love when you digress.
Yeah, I digress. But yes, you got the Chiefs and the Ravens tonight. Rematch of the AFC Championship. Chiefs going for 3 in a row, right? Do we even play this season, or are we just going to give the Kansas City Chiefs the trophy now?
We do play the season, and but I think what's more interesting, well, at least to me, because why not? Let's start dreaming up some awards. I don't know if Caleb can quite be the MVP this season, but Patrick Mahomes, do you know how many times he's won the MVP? Are you looking at in Notion when I put it in there?
No, I'm not looking. I was just kind of looking down, but I didn't. No, I have no idea. One?
He's got two. 2018 and 2022.
One more than Kobe. Kobe only had one.
His
whole career.
I love when you mention Kobe. That's amazing. But he's MVP this year. Who, if it's not Patrick Mahomes, who pops in your head that could take it from him, regardless of how they vote, but rightfully so? Who would be number 2 in line to potentially be the MVP of this NFL season?
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's a good answer.
I mean, he was fighting at the end, right? I mean, he was starting to move up the charts to.
You don't. Yeah, but
expectation.
What about,
if you're gonna go the Caleb Williams route, would you?
I was gonna say, what about the guy playing across from him, Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson. I mean, right? He's got 2 MVPs. So
Allen, Burrow, outliers. Dare I say it? I'll do it. Jordan Love, Brock Purdy is less of an out. Those could be.
Are you having a stroke?
Not yet. I will if Jordan Love becomes the MVP.
I mean, I think CJ Stroud's certainly up there. If you're going the Caleb Williams route, I'm not going to go down that. I can't go down that road because at the end of the day, I think I'm
not going down that route.
Right. If he has a great year, he can win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, CJ Stroud was a rookie last year and was getting some MVP considerations because he had a historic rookie season. So if Caleb were to somehow surpass that threshold and just have the most unbelievable year where I'm ripping my pants off on these post-game shows.
That'd be great.
I mean, that might happen. If he has a better year than CJ Stroud, I will not wear pants on these post-game shows.
Since you just said it, that was another point, by the way, as far as the pressure on Caleb. He's got to be as good as CJ Stroud was, 4,100 yards, make the playoffs, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That would be a 4-to-1 plus ratio.
Right.
That's what you got to do as a rookie, pal. You've got Keenan Allen. You've got DJ Moore. You've got Rome Odunze.
I mean, I see a lot of people bringing up Josh Allen in the chat. I mean, with the Bills taking a hit to the talent around Josh Allen, if he were to have a big year and the Bills were the best team in the AFC, he would get all the credit for that. So I could see him getting in there. I see a lot of people pushing off the idea of Jared Goff because it's like the sum of the parts in Detroit. They talk about the roster and the coach almost more than they talk about the quarterback. But the Lions and the Packers, much to Bears fans' chagrin, both these teams are Super Bowl contenders this year.
Well, and Don Burr's been very prevalent in our Bears chat the last couple of days, annoying the chat. Congratulations, Don. You're setting out to, you're accomplishing, I think, what you set out to do. But look, I think Jared Goff's not winning the MVP, but if you're talking about offensive player of the year, I mean, can Amon-Ra be that guy? Probably a little bit too tall.
They typically are going to go quarterbacks. Air in the chat, Aaron Rodgers could be a sneaky candidate for MVP. Kind of forget about him, right? He's starting back up with the Jets. Can he make it past a quarter this season? But if he has a great year, he's starting to get to the swan song of his, illustrious career. He certainly would be an MVP candidate.
Well, a lot of times though, sure. And let me just move to offensive player of the year. Let's go non-quarterback. Let's say they give it to a non-QB. Tyreek Hill's going to be at the top of that list, right?
Oh yeah.
Who's number 2?
Roma Dunze. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
it's got to be Christian McCaffrey,
right? So McCaffrey. Yeah. Does in year 2 does Bijan Robinson make a huge jump up? What about Justin Jefferson would be a name, right? Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, Breece Hall.
That's a good name. My point is, like, if you look at the way people are voting on these things, and I don't know, it's not the main point I'm trying to make here, but like, look, no one is saying that Caleb's going to be the MVP. No one's saying that he's going to be the offensive player of the year. No one is putting DJ or Keenan or Rome really in that conversation. Rookie of the year, Caleb is the favorite, which is sweet, but there's a different level up there. So as talented as the Bears roster has improved as it is, you still don't have yet, maybe Caleb will get there, but you still don't have the elite at any spot. No one is saying...
Well, I mean, DJ Moore, we brought it up yesterday when we talk about my lock of the year was that DJ's going to get 1,000 yards easy. He's had it 4 of the last 5 years, and last year he had a career high 1,346 yards receiving with Justin Fields in his first year with Justin. So if he were to have 1,500 plus yards with Caleb Williams and cement himself as the star again, most yards of a wide receiver at the age of 27 or before, and the other 4 guys are Hall of Famers.
That's a good underlining because, I mean, maybe DJ does have a bump to come, despite the fact that, I mean, he's telling you that there's a lot more talent around, so maybe he thinks he might get the ball a lot less. But playing with the by far the best quarterback that he's ever played with as he steps into it, maybe his numbers do go up.
And who is Caleb going to trust? Because this is what Brian Baldinger, if you haven't checked out his interview with us yesterday, make sure you do so. But he brought this up where, C.J. Stroud determined that Nico Collins is going to be his guy. And that was where he was most comfortable throwing to. And so, yeah, you got a lot of talent all across the board with the Bears. But if he feels the most comfortable in a pinch getting it to DJ Moore because he understands what he's trying to do on a route or he understands the separation he's going to get off the line of scrimmage, that could be where DJ Moore, really racks up the catches, and then we all know his ability on his yards after catch.
Well, and there's been some moments in training camp where the two have timed up so perfectly that it makes you excited as to how far that level of connection and understanding each other can go to after they've played together, half a season, and then, longer. Obviously, DJ's going to be here for 6 years. But it's the same thing, by the way, with Defensive Player of the Year. Top of that list is Micah Parsons, is Myles Garrett, right? TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson. Montez Sweat's great. Love him. He ain't. You're going to hear Nick Bosa's name before that. You're going to hear Chris Jones' name before that. You're going to hear Max Crosby's name before that, right? Yes. I mean, I'm just being fair to Bears are way better, and then it's there. My point is that it's more the sum of the parts than the we have the guy. Yeah,
but I think the roster is finally at a point now where the guys that are stars on this team that may not be national relevant stars can have an opportunity to catapult themselves into that category now.
I like that optimism.
I mean,
I like that possibility.
Right? Sure. DJ Moore and Montez Sweat have that opportunity this year because they're surrounded by a great team, and they've both been on teams that haven't been good.
Not only that, like they've been spotlighted now, not just Hard Knocks, but the talent. Caleb Williams coming into town.
Right.
Like, the expectations being different. I mean, for me, they should get recognition they weren't getting before just because of
Jalen Johnson too, not making the top one. Jalen Johnson and DJ Moore not making the top 100 underlines just how much people I think don't realize how good these players are. I mean, it's a crime again. Someone should be shot for not having those two arrested. Something should happen.
Murderous offense. Okay. I mean,
we could shoot Carm. Carm should be shot for not letting DJ Moore and
HR. I think that how many shows in a row have I had the legit right to call for HR? Steven, I want you to start.
It's been a lot. I want you to keep tally.
I want to keep track of that because I think every day I've been able to say HR. Okay, let me before Hoge pops in here, which excuse me.
Nothing.
Rewind the tape. Before Hoge pops in here, which could be any second, you're Gregory. Who's coming out of the NFC?
Who's coming out of the NFC?
Yeah. You're talking about the season starting today, season predictions. Steven, you can do this too.
I hate doing this, but it just does feel like we're on a crash course for a rematch of last year's Super Bowl with the 49ers and the Chiefs. It's chalk. It's not the sexy pick to say. Maybe the Lions or Packers can break through there. The Lions certainly are hungry for that spot. But those teams are just loaded. You know, I have a tough time seeing anybody ever taking down the Chiefs. It's just how it goes, man. There's a lot of good candidates in the AFC, but when push comes to shove, you're not beating Mahomes. I'm not betting against him. And then who in the NFC is ready to I mean, it's not as deep of a conference.
Dallas, you want to give Dallas some love?
Man, I'm sure Cowboys fans, now they're a part of our All-City network, but what's
up, DLS?
I mean, what do you got, Steven? Because for me, I think the Packers and Lions are the two teams fighting for that spot, but can they take down the Niners? I don't know.
I mean, for me, there's really two teams that I'm looking at. One is, and I really hate to say this, one's Detroit. They get all those indoor games, those home games in a row. I mean, if I were to tell you Jared Goff was going to throw for 4,500 yards and 30 TDs this year, what would you say?
Right.
That's what he did last year. So, I mean, those are phenomenal numbers, and I think all of us would kill for that here in Chicago, and we should hopefully be getting it soon. The other team that I'm keeping an eye on, though, is the Eagles. They bring in Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, and then they also bring in Saquon Barkley, who I think we all agree is one of the more phenomenal talents in the NFL. That team, in addition to what they already had with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, I mean, I think they're really good and they're a threat, and we'll get our first look at that on Friday.
Well, and I'm going to be rooting hard for them on Friday, but I just still have a lot of questions about the Eagles, especially on defense. They lose Hassan Reddick. They had a lot of turmoil go on with their defensive coordinators. There's questioning of leadership ability with Jalen Hurts. So I think if they can regain that chemistry they had a couple years ago where they were right on the cusp of winning the Super Bowl right at the end there. But it all kind of fell apart for them last year. So I think Friday's a big game, and I'm rooting for the Eagles. I'm going to go hang out with my buddy Nick at his house, and he's a huge Eagles fan, and we're going to watch it together. But at the same time, I think the Packers are going to win on Friday.
Germany Nick or different Nick?
A different Nick that lives down the street from my house.
Oh, okay.
A little bit closer.
Well, I mean, Nick's here. If you're going to talk about Nick, talk about elite Germany Nick, not your regent Nick, who's probably eating Cheetos right now and about to knock down a
Hoge about to jump on shortly. Want to hit some super chats while we wait for him?
Sure, we can do that. I did want to just one thing you just said there, Steven, make me think about Ryan Poles, and you mentioned Saquon Barkley, and the Bears, by multiple reports, were in on Saquon, and then it got too expensive. And they were in on Matthew Judon, and then it got too expensive. And they thought about trading Velus Jones, but they wanted a 4th-round draft pick because they want to keep Velus because they need him now. And it just makes me it does make me wonder with the expectations of where people want the Bears to be right now. Has Poles done enough? Did he do he did a ton.
Yes.
rosters completely overall, but like, could they have gone even more all in on this year? No. Okay.
I mean, they did try with Matthew Judon, so it's not saying they couldn't have, but you have to do it in a reasonable way. You don't do it recklessly. You're not pushing all your chips in recklessly, but they are in win now mode, and they have enough to win. Show me a roster across the entire NFL that doesn't have a hole or two in certain position groups. That's a reality of every NFL roster.
Right, I'm going to answer that question a little bit differently. Could he have done more? Yes. My bold prediction is he still will. We're going to see a trade, just like we saw last season with Montez Sweat. We're going to see one.
Wow.
When a team starts falling out of the race and they have some star that maybe they're not going to keep, or maybe they're transitioning into a rebuild, I think that's when Poles is going to strike and he's going to get the value that he wants for it rather than overpaying.
Mark that down. September the 5th at 12:50 while we wait for Hoge. Steven, Poles, in-season trade to fill up a hole. Bears Super Bowl. I think that's what you just said. Super chats today, $5 from Zevi R. The Titans did not take the ball away last year going into Week 18. 3 Bears players had as many interceptions as the entire Titans team. 4. Zevi, that's a good underlining with Tennessee. This is, it's the revamped Titans. New left tackle, new center.
That's what I'm saying.
When
we were talking earlier with Tyler, I just feel like hearing him talk about the Titans, there's so many unknowns that there's assuming going on of, okay, this is going to work out and this is going to work out and this will work out, and that's why they're going to be good. Whereas if you look at the Bears, we had so many unknowns last year. Who is Justin Fields going to be as a quarterback? How can he get chemistry with DJ Moore? How is the defense going to generate a pass rush? They didn't have Montez Sweat at the time. Who is Kyler Gordon? Who's Tyreek Stevenson? Who's Jervon Dexter? There's so many things we now know about this team, the Bears, going into Week 1. Caleb is really the only question at this point, and I feel pretty damn good about who Caleb Williams is going to be.
Jervon Dexter's not a question?
I'm not saying he's not, but we at least have a foundation of who he is versus last year going in as a rookie, first week of the season, rookie D tackle. He's in his second year now. So I'm just saying, like, there's a little bit more knowns versus the unknowns of last year with the Bears.
And before we bring Hoge in, just to add on to that last point by Zevi there, they did overhaul this defense, particularly in their defensive backfield. New defensive coordinator, then they get Quandre Diggs, they get Jamal Adams, they get Chidobe Awuzie. So there's a lot of the Titans addressed an issue that they were aware of.
Yeah, and in some corners of the NFL prediction world, the Titans are a plucky team that could potentially actually be a playoff team here. Then there's some that think that the Titans are one of the worst teams in the NFL. So they got a wide range of viewpoints. As we bring in our guy from Halas Hall on his Thursday Halas Hall visit, the locker room just gets so much better when Hoge is there to talk to the Bears, and now he's talking to us. Adam Hoge joining his own show on CHGO Bears. Hoger, good to see you, buddy.
What's going on, guys?
We are, it's a spirited day here. We're spraying to all fields, but let's get out to you and I don't know. Start with the highlights so far that you've gotten today. As far as we got Shane Waldron, we got Richard Hightower. What are some of your takeaways from what you've seen today, Hoge? What you've heard?
Yeah, I spent most of the time so far in the locker room. Because they got a little bit of an overlap going on here this year. So it's a little bit of a new setup that we're dealing with. So Nick's been in the press conferences. I do know we've got some clarity on the returner situation. I know that Richard Hightower, I believe he said, right, that DeAndre Carter's is going to be the returner. So the punt returner, we should say. And I don't think that's any surprise. I think by him making the team, you kind of knew that was going to be the case. Otherwise, I think on the kick return side, you're going to see what we kind of already know, and that's Velus Jones and Khalil Herbert be the main kick returners. I think behind that, you'll probably see DeAndre Carter, Tyler Scott, maybe get some looks there if needed. And then on the punt return side, I think the question is, with what was left on the roster, I mean, I think Carter's the guy, but as much as Braggs doesn't want to hear this, it wouldn't shock me if something happened to him that Rome Odunze ended up getting the nod. Otherwise, you have Josh Blackwell too. So I think those are really the options left on the roster after you got to final cutdowns.
Right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be extremely risky. I've made that very clear on here. If you're not going to give Rome Odunze reps in the preseason to practice that with live bullets, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'd probably push back with you a little bit on that, Hoge, and say that Josh Blackwell would be the first person to get that look before Rome Odunze, because I did think when he was given that opportunity in the preseason, I thought he looked pretty smooth at it. Looked like, a good fit, natural fit at returning punts. So we'll just have to wait and see. But none of that gives me great optimism. It's a punt returner's problem every year, it feels like.
Yeah. Hoger, did you feel a mood? Did you feel an excitement? Did you feel an anticipation? I know it's these things are pretty subjective here, but
Yeah, no, I'll give you a little bit of a scene setter though from the locker room. I mean, couldn't help but notice the quarterback, Caleb Williams, just sort of chilling on the floor, sort of leaning up against his locker, eating some fruit and some healthy food, for his lunch ahead of practice. The way they have this set up is these guys are about to go out to practice here in about 30 minutes, and usually they head out there on the field a little bit early. So, Caleb looked very calm. He was hanging out with your guy, Tyson Bagent, and Cole Kmet. The three of those guys' lockers are all next to each other this year, and very casual, just normal everyday conversations, not like stressing out about anything at this point in the week. And I think that's just I don't think it means anything. I think just trying to set the scene for you and what I saw in the the time I was in the locker room and sort of what that vibe was. It was a mostly empty locker room, which is not that's kind of usually the case when the media is in there, but those guys were in there and slowly getting ready for practice, which will get underway in about 33 minutes from now.
So this might be a stupid question, but you've got my interest now when you talked about the locker room layout. So I'm going to ask the stupid question anyway. Is the locker room layout at Halas Hall the same then what they have at Soldier Field?
That's a good question. I haven't been in the Soldier Field locker room in 2.5 years. I think I don't know if it's exactly the same. I mean, typically they were in the past sort of grouped together by position on game day, even if they weren't in their permanent lockers back at Halas Hall. Remember, when they go to Soldier Field, they're only in there 10 times a year, and it's definitely more of like a temporary locker room situation rather than here at Halas. This is their home. That's where they work every single day. And it's not a dumb question, though, from the standpoint of how the lockers are put together. Different coaches do it different ways. Some coaches they think it's better to mix guys up because they're always with their position groups anyway. Right. So, hey, maybe you should go hang out. If you're an old lineman, you should go hang out with the defensive backs. I've never been a big fan of that. I think it's important to be with the guys that you're usually going to be playing next to and continue to, that's the most important chemistry. And from what I could tell, being in there for the first time today, that is how it's set up. Like all the D linemen were over here, you had your linebackers over here, DBs over here, and that's how it was last year too. And then over on the other half of the locker room, you got your offensive linemen here, wide receivers over here, quarterbacks, tight ends, and that pretty much covers it. So yeah, that's pretty much how they have it set up this year at Halas Hall.
So did Caleb take Justin's locker?
Yes, I believe it's the exact same. If not, it's like right next to it. But yeah, I think it's the same one. It's in that same spot.
And Mooney had the premium spot. He was in the far corner, like right as you go into the private area. Who took the Mooney spot?
Oh, good question. I did not catch that. DJ's in that same the other corner that's got a little extra space, and Rome Odunze's right next to him. That's a good question, though. I'll have to check that. Well, I mean, you can check it tomorrow. You're going to be here. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a nice little prime spot to sneak in and sneak out whenever you needed to.
He had a good spot, and Justin Jones on the opposite corner had a great spot too.
Yep.
So, that's the spots that I would get if I was a Bears player because,
I mean, look, I when they redid Halas Hall, I couldn't help but notice the amount of exit points that were installed. There used to just be like one door in and out, one that went to the weight room, one that went to the showers, and one exit. So yeah, it's they got multiple connections now to get in and out of there.
Go ahead, Gregory.
So Hoge, I know you talked to Richard Hightower spoke to the media today. I don't know if you had a chance. Tom Pelissero put out the tweet yesterday about some of the tweaks to the kick return game. Were you able to look at those tweaks, and did you have any thoughts on those yet?
No, to be honest with you, I have not had a chance to get into that yet. My understanding, though, is that they are all minor. I think it was I can
read them off. I can read them off for you real quick.
Yeah, please do. But real quick, I will say, like, I do think some of the discussions did get all the way to the point of, like, do they adjust the touchback point, like where the ball would come out to the 35 instead of the 30, which was the original rule proposal back in March. And I just think that they were it would have been maybe too drastic of a change to make right before the season started. I would bet a lot of money that ends up happening this coming spring. But yeah, go ahead and read off what these changes are.
Yeah, so he said the NFL sent a memo to clubs tweaking minor aspects of the new dynamic kickoff rule, sources say, but no substantive changes are expected before or during the 2024 season that kicks off here tonight. But the tweaks do include ball must be kicked off tee except on a declared onside kick, and teams can elect to tack on penalty yardage for certain fouls to the end of a play rather than re-kicking. There's also an alignment matter that was clarified. The play will still look the same, though, overall. So those were the three notes that Pelissero shared last night.
Yeah. So the first one, probably just a little bit of an oversight whenever you're making a rule like this. Teams are immediately going to find loopholes. And one of those could have been if you're going to try to do some type of funky kick, you might just not use a tee at all. So I'm guessing that's where that came from. The second one is interesting to me because we went through that with the penalties in the Hall of Fame game where we thought it was a little weird that a couple could not be just tacked on to the end of the kick instead of having a re-kick. And so I'm guessing that might be where that's going to get applied. I'll look into this a little bit more tonight. And then, yeah, the third one with the alignment, I don't know that necessarily matters at all, but I'm not surprised. They've been doing Zoom call. I know for a fact that these coaches have been on these Zoom calls. Special teams coordinators have been on the Zoom calls. They've been periodically happening throughout the preseason as they continue to try to figure out what is the best. They just want to perfect this rule as much as possible going into what we'll see for the first time tonight in this Chiefs-Ravens game, the real actual first time it is implemented.
So, Ravens-Chiefs tonight. We're having our diehard happy hour hangout at 8 o'clock tonight. Hoger, are you going to be on at 8 tonight, or are you doing Hoagland stuff?
Hoagland is booked. Family dinner. That is it's a mandatory. It's a mandatory situation. From upper management. And at this exact moment, I do not know when said dinner is starting and ending, and I'm scared to ask questions. So that's a to be determined situation for when I can exit Hoagland and enter Carm's happy hour land.
Okay, there is no pressure. We definitely will see you at the tailgate on Sunday, around about 8 o'clock. You'll be there 8 to 9:30 as you promised.
7 a.m.
On this very show. You'll be there at 7, maybe 6. Oh, he'll be there at 7. Okay. I thought he said 8.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
8's questionable.
Before you go.
I know myself.
Before you go, did we miss anything today? Anything that you need to get out there from today's locker room Bears experience?
No, just that, looking around the locker room, even guys that are on this injury report, I saw Ryan Bates in there. He looked like he was gearing up to practice. and I know he was limited yesterday. Montez Sweat, I still don't know if that press conference has happened upstairs, but he's supposed to be meeting with the media, and I know he was getting some treatment. So, but that is not like none of these things are really all that concerning to me. Looking at that injury report, we've known Montez Sweat's been dealing with this for a while. I find that the more and more I looked at this matchup between the offensive and defensive line, the Titans O-line versus the Bears D-line, what's so interesting about it is that the Titans' strength is on the left side, which is the Bears going up against the weak side of the Bears' offensive line. And then I think they got a hole at right tackle the more I look at it. Like Nicholas Petit-Frere is not an upper echelon tackle in this league. And assuming Sweat's healthy and that this toe thing he's dealing with is not going to limit him, that should be an area that if I'm the Titans, I'm really worried about extra tight ends over there, extra running back chipping. Like they're going to have to come up with a solution. And I think, that just brings us back to the storyline we've been talking about a lot this entire offseason, which is, I feel like the door is going to be open for Javon Dexter. If you got Sweat taking double teams, you got Andrew Billings, who's just ginormous and is going to be taking up a couple guys. Like that 3 technique needs to get pressure, needs to get upfield. And I think that, we're going to find out real quickly. We did our breakout candidates yesterday. Javon Dexter was one we kind of overlooked, I think. But this is the type of possible breakout game for him too, because I think the opportunity is going to be there.
All right. I like it. Maybe a huge game. Let's go, Montez. Last one, Adam Hoge. Who at 107 on September the 5th, ahead of an amazing pregame show on Sunday and the Bears kicking off and kicking the Titans' ass on Sunday at noon, who will be the NFC champion? That's my one season preview that I need from you today.
Wow. Put me on the spot because I haven't made full-on predictions.
Packer, 49er, Eagle, Ram, Cowboy, Bear.
Are you going to name him the whole NFC?
Well, I think so. I'm giving him some time to think.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's just really, I think, man, I don't want to just go chalk here, but it really seems to me like it's going to come back down to the 49ers and Lions. And I really do like what the Lions have done to shore up some of the holes that were so quick last year. Sorry, Carm. I'm not answering it right now. There's too much at stake here. I will answer that question on the pregame show. So tune in.
All right. I do want to follow
up.
up.
I mean, the season starts today. So, you're late.
What exactly?
2 games before Sunday. So that's cheating. Yeah. And then you're going to have a look at 4 teams before you make your predictions.
These 4 teams, 2 of those teams don't play in the NFC, so that has nothing to do with
it's still cheating.
what we're talking about here.
I need your full
and the Packers, I can tell you for sure the Packers and Eagles will not be my pick no matter what.
All right. I would come
You don't know that. You don't know that. I mean, Jordan Love could throw 7 touchdowns on Friday.
I do think the Packers win tomorrow night, though. I'll tell you that. I think the Packers. I don't like the vibes in Philly. I don't like what's going on with Nick Sirianni. I think losing Kelsey at center, we talked about that with Baldy yesterday. I think that's just maybe the biggest loss that any team had this entire offseason. Like, seriously. I take that back because the Rams lost Aaron Donald. So the second biggest loss that any team had, in the NFL this year was right there. And so I think the Packers. What a weird game, though. Both teams are flying like over 12 hours to get down there. It's the stadium. I saw Zach Berman, our guy at PHLY, is down there. He's covering the game. So part of our ALLCITY family, people should be checking out Zach Berman at ZBerm. He tweeted a photo of the stadium, and I'm like, that doesn't look like an NFL stadium. I mean, so I don't know. It's cool to watch on TV. We'll be watching. Actually, I won't be watching because Carmel plays Lake Forest, but we'll be catching the highlights, and it should be a fun. Both of these, I'm just glad we got 2 games to start Thursday, Friday. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern and Duke, that's got to take precedent over the Packers. There's just no doubt about it. Go Cats. Yeah, that's
another one. No, I'm with you, man. Like these Friday, everyone's trying to play on Friday now. I got to say in general, I don't love the NFL. I like it for 1 week, and I like it on Black Friday. That's fine. But if they start trying to play Friday games every week, that's
it sucks.
a little much.
It sucks. Stop playing on Friday. U2 college football. I know it's not stopping. I know we're going to have games on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Christmas and Thanksgiving and Greg Bragg's knee brace day, if possible. So, I know we're going to squeeze every last bit of juice out of the NFL money tree because the billionaire needs another billion and the player needs another whatever. It just and the old little fan out there, just let's all pay for it because it's going to be on 100 networks. Okay, that's the end of my complaining. This NFL season is here. I'm super psyched. Hoge, have a great rest of your day, your rest of your practice. We'll see you Sunday at 8:01. You better not be late.
8:02. I'll see you then.
8:02 it is. All right. Adam Hoge out at Halas Hall, as he will be on Thursdays all season long. Gregory.
That's right. Super chat time. Physical therapy time.
Are you going to physical therapy today?
Yeah, I got physical therapy in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys aren't gonna understand this one fully. Gritty, I think he did update his profile, but I guess since we're in a live show, it didn't update on here. $10 super chat, penance for my creation, but also a celebration of two goats of CHGO. He did make the Carm Braggs combo.
Gritty, you never have to apologize, even though we can't see it. Except
he might have to apologize if it looks like the last one.
All right,
it was terrifying.
Well, I would just say this, Gritty. I don't care how bad the picture is, but you do have to get it right with me. It's not M-E-N. It's M-A-N. I'm a man. I am not plural. I'm a singular. M-A-N.
Yep.
So I said Carman.
Yeah, I know.
That hurt my heart, Gregory.
I know. And to be honest with you, Mark, when I first started working with you,
I know what you're about to say.
I plugged your phone number in, and I made this mistake. And
is it still M-E-N?
Yeah, and it's still M-E-N.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's nauseating. It's not me. That dude exists somewhere.
This like an alternate universe, Mark Carman, who's normal and doesn't sing. And
thank you. Maybe I should switch to M-E-N, actually. Edward, $9.99.
It could be your alter ego, Mark,
Sure. I'm always trying to evolve into a better me. This region rat,
let's go,
is on his way to Chicago for the Bears game from Las Vegas, coming back home, driving 1,800 miles. Hopefully I can make it to the tailgate. Edward, you better be there, buddy, if you're making that effort. Is that a Tesla?
Yeah, I was going to say he's driving a Tesla. So, like, those things drive themselves, right? So he's probably, like,
some of them do,
laying in the back seat while the thing is driving itself here, too.
It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that?
No.
Nice to see. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Inner Orbit. Make it. You'll be here. We miss you. Inner Orbit Pinball $1.99. CAGs sounds like a disease I'd gladly sign up for. We are a disease. The two of us together is a full disease.
Yes, I'm sick to my stomach.
I think we've done a great job though, and everyone's thrilled. Clearly, Rodimus
Prime.
Like Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Rodimus.
Do you know who Optimus Prime is?
Not a chance.
You don't know who Optimus Prime is?
That shouldn't be surprising to you.
Transformers, dog.
Yeah, exactly. I don't do Transformers. What's that other thing that we talked about?
The Avengers.
That stupid ass thing. I don't do that stuff. No, I'm an adult.
Transformers from like the 80s,
Yeah, I didn't transform then, and I didn't avenge now. Why is the pressure on him and not the team? Last I checked, 53-man roster, 3 phases of football, offense, defense, play callers, and a head coach. Highest pressure should be on the highest paid. Rodimus Prime, it's always on the quarterback. Fair or unfair, they get the glory and they get the flack. It's like me sitting here, in the big chair today. I'm gonna get the glory, or I'm gonna, Bragg's gonna blame me if the show wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's gonna take credit too if it is good.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I take all the credit, none of the blame.
No, it's.
B-Shep23 saw Greg kiss the bear on Twitter.
You kissed the bear on Twitter?
Yeah, when we got the number 1 pick when the Texans-Colts game, and we were all freaking out here in studio. It was one of those great moments.
Yeah.
We had the balloon and the big
You had
blow-up
sex
bear.
with the balloon. You didn't just kiss him. That was a full fornication.
I did. It was a full fornication of the blow-up bear here in studio.
It was.
And that bear will be at our tailgate.
Well, great. That's a
No one's going to go close to
and
that
we've
thing
cleaned
now.
him.
We've cleaned him. That's good.
Oh, God.
All right. Great end of the show here. 1999 from Crystal, our hero, sending a super for my 3 favorite guys holding down the fort today. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Bear Down football is back. Crystal's got a big weekend. She's going to the Sky game. She's going to be at our tailgate. She's living the dream.
3 favorite guys. Did you hear that?
Steven, you got an upgrade.
Shots fired at Adam Hoge and Nick Moriano. We are above the pecking order.
No. That's not how Crystal lives.
Competitive?
She's not trying to take shots.
She just said, my 3 favorite guys, screw those other 2 guys. That's what it said in the super chat.
I didn't see that, and that's not the spirit
of
Crystal.
That's what I heard, and that's what I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah, okay. When she meant 3, she meant me, Steven, and Hoge out at Halas Hall. $5 from Chico Grizzly. Last rookie quarterback to win week 1, Sam Darnold. Last number 1 rookie quarterback to win week 1, David Carr. Hope Caleb breaks both Sunday. Good history right there, Chico. Appreciate you.
Right. I think the stat was, I was talking about this with Adam Rank, like 14-1 or something for rookie number 1 pick quarterbacks over the last 15 starts.
Right. That's why I'm picking 30-17, because all great streaks are meant to come to an end, except for the streak of me losing in tennis in the 4-5B league. Congratulations last night to Hilton, who kicked my ass.
In your underwear. Gritty, $2 super chat. The man, Mark Carman.
Thank you, Gritty. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We did it.
I love Gritty. He's my gal. He's my guy.
Jeff Jungman. Show was great, Carm. See? Pizzatola's not here to go, great show, except Carm. You get Jeff Jungman instead saying, show was great, Carm.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it.
I'm so excited, man. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the Friday 120 Club. Oh, there it is. Pizzatola. Thank you. I was getting worried. Thank you. If you weren't here to put that in here to finish, I don't know what I would have done.
Okay.
So, and also great show, Brax. Thank you, Pizzatola. Yeah, Friday 120 Club tomorrow. So if you're coming to Wrigley Field for Anthony Rizzo's return, we will be there with my guys, Nick and David from Germany. We're going to be in the bleachers, starting out at Murphy's. Emma will be there, who just walked into studio. And then, yeah, and the next time I'm on a show for CHGO Bears will be the post-game show, because I'll be at the tailgate, so I will not be on the pregame show. So the next time I'm on these airwaves, it will be CHGO Bears post-game show, talking about all the glory that is Caleb Williams.
You know, at 117 with the show about to end, I do think it's important to let Gregory know that these aren't airwaves. We're on the internet. We're on YouTube, and the podcast, the audio goes into the podcast. This is not a radio show. I know you want it to be that too, and we are on Roku and all these things, but there's no airwaves. Get with the program. Learn what you're doing.
Before we wrap up, Braggs, are there still tailgate tickets available?
Yeah.
Yes, there's always tailgate tickets available. Never enough tailgate tickets to go around. You can have as many as you want. Go to allchgo.com/events, and you can get your tailgates there. The official CHGO tailgate, best in the city, presented by our guys over at Miller Lite, Sunnyside. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Starts at 7:30 a.m., goes all the way until you're ready to leave to go to the stadium. But if you're not going to the game, you can still come to our tailgate. Have Miller Lite on hand. We have
Emma, Sarah, Luke,
all you can
Greg.
eat firewater barbecue. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Last year's week 1 tailgate was nuts. The hype was at an unbelievable level. So I'm excited to get out there. It's supposed to be like 72 degrees on Sunday. So it's going to be a little chilly. You're going to have to wear your hoodie to start the morning. But it's going to be a nice day. Perfect football weather.
Wear your CHGO gear. Go to CHGO Locker. Get your claws up to what's wrong.
Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Oh, wow. We have a new I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we have a new link.
You didn't know that?
You
How about you get with the program and learn what...
All right, you're both muted. You could go to... Yeah, I muted you guys. You go to store.allcitynetwork.com. You can get our brand new Claws Up shirt. It's amazing.
I'm not even
You guys
kidding.
are now unmuted. You can talk again.
Okay.
That's where you can go. I want to make
I'm-
sure everyone
Give me one,
knows.
too.
'Cause
You want me
even
to buy
Carm
you
didn't
one?
know.
Yeah,
We
give
have
me
a
one.
new website. You can
You
go to
owe me for the Claypool bet that you lost. 'Cause I told you how good he was going to be.
No,
You were wrong.
I owe you nothing. The last time we went to dinner, you ordered 17,000 drinks, and you're
17. 2 drinks.
2 drinks. Do we not all have shots and everything else?
Oh, yeah, and shots.
Yeah.
But that was, for to kick off the season.
What am I
Kick
going
off
to?
the season.
Store dot what?
Oh, my God. We're going to do this on the air.
Yes, we are, because everybody needs to
Want
know.
me to flash it one more time? You could read it.
Yeah.
Store.allcitynetwork.com.
All right.
And when you go there, you can see links to all of our different branches, including our new DLLS gear, which has some amazing logos. So it's not
Really
just
good.
CHGOs. If you want to check out all of our different merch, you can
Shop
check it out
by
there.
City. This is very cool.
You like that?
Very cool. Dude, you can get our CHGO merch at Dick's Sporting Goods in the Chicagoland area. I've seen people sending me pictures at some of the Dick's around the area, and is that what's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Get your mind out of the gutter, you dick.
I can't wait to go to Dick's and buy our gear and buy it right here at store.allcitynetwork.com. Have a great rest of your day. It was great to be with you, Gregory. You're my hero. And
You should go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
just come to the Die Hard Discord
A dick
tonight
and a dick.
and at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Be there. We're going to have a ton of people hanging out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see you for everybody coming out to tailgate
Football
on Sunday.
Friday tomorrow. Nick Moriano, Herb Howard will
Nick
have you
Moriano,
covered.
Herb Howard tomorrow. That's going to be a fun show. Check that out, too. Now you can say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.